You gave some previous evidence when you helpfully appeared in Module 1 about your ministerial experience, having been Health Secretary, Deputy First Minister and First Minister. And you told the inquiry about the fact that you had in fact had, I think in your role as Health Minister, experience of dealing with a pandemic before, as you had dealt with Scotland's response to and position in the 2009 H1N1 swine flu crisis. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Although her ladyship is still to make determinations on the matter, it was suggested by a number of witnesses in Module 2 that the then Prime Minister, Mr Johnson, was the wrong Prime Minister for this crisis. Did you share that view?
Yes. I'm risking here going further than I should and being reprimanded for sounding political. I'm not meaning to be. I suppose I'm trying to put that into context where I don't think I'm betraying any secrets here when I thought Boris Johnson was the wrong person to be Prime Minister. Full stop. So I think that answer has to be seen within that context.
Did you consider yourself, against that background and your considerable ministerial experience, to be precisely the right First Minister for the job?
No, that's not how I would have thought of it at all. I was the First Minister when the pandemic struck. There's a large part of me wishes that I hadn't been, but I was, and I wanted to be the best First Minister I could be during that period. It's for others to judge the extent to which I succeeded.
It's undeniable that you had the previous experience of the H1N1 crisis, that's simply a fact, and that you had considerable experience in dealing with health matters, in particular as you had been Cabinet Secretary for Health. I'd be interested to know, Ms Sturgeon, whether in the juxtaposition between that simple state of affairs and your opinions shared by some others of Mr Johnson, that you saw a political opportunity in the fact that you were well equipped in your mind to deal with the response and he was not?
No. The answer I gave you a moment ago about Boris Johnson, I don't remember thinking that in the moment. I've made the political comment about my views of Boris Johnson generally. In those early days of the pandemic, my view was, and my experience was, that we were all trying our best in almost impossible circumstances. To the next bit of your question, did I see an opportunity? I didn't see an opportunity of any description in COVID. I saw a threat, a risk, a catastrophe. My memories of the early part of 2020 in terms of how I was feeling and thinking and the emotions that I was experiencing was at first fear at what might be about to unfold and confront the country. At times, and I think you've seen snippets of perhaps the sort of human side of being a leader and a politician in these moments. At times in those early days, I felt overwhelmed by the scale of what we were dealing with. And perhaps more than anything, I felt an overwhelming responsibility to do the best I could. And so the idea that in those horrendous days, weeks, I was thinking of a political opportunity, I find, well, it wasn't true.